2,
3,
4,
5.
6.
Alright, hi, my name's Marissa. And I'm Ashley. And today we are going to share with you our knowledge about Egypt. The first thing that we're going to go over today is the history